Hey, this is TVG in the Masters League between Nebbish and Gigantar, and Nebbish is doing the fast expand into 4X into Heavy Marine with upgrades and smattering of Medivacs, and then late game 3 Factory Siege Tank transition kind of thing, which is what I've been doing lately too. And Nick doesn't really like TVT at the moment because he's gotten so good at TVZ and TVP that he's rocketed himself up to rank 6 Masters League. He's playing against crazy good people, and the better you are at one matchup, the worse you feel at another, because like say Nick is good enough to beat a 600 point master 900% of the time, but he's not good enough to beat an 800 point master. If he gets crazy good at TVP and TVZ, he's going to promote himself so that he ends up only playing against an 800 point master in TVT, and then it just feels like suddenly TVT is super hard. And that sort of back and forth balance happens in all 3 of the matchups. So whenever you find a new build that's super good, you'll move a little bit up the ladder, and then you'll start feeling like your other matchups suddenly suck. And it's not like you changed anything. What happened is you're facing better people now. So this Gigantar did what I like to do, which is the... Oh, no, he didn't do what I like to do. I thought he went Rax CC without Orbital, but he went CC before Rax, which is kind of stupid. I don't feel like this is going to give him any advantage, but this is a good opportunity for us to find out. So Nick is going double supply depot command center, and that allows him to give constant marine production. He also gets his orbital before the CC. That kind of delays his CC a little bit, but orbitals pay for themselves like Mondo Mon chocolate tacos with rabbits and all sorts of things. So we got to look at... I assume that, what's this guy's name? Gigantar is going to have a pretty big worker lead at 6 minutes, probably like 29. And from there, I think, I don't know. We're just going to have to see. So Nick likes to do the poke with his first 4 Rex and first 10 Marines. And I think that could become somewhat... No, with a bunker, he'll be safe against that too. Man. This is just lucky for Gigantar. Nick's build is really greedy, and Gigantar's build is even more greedy. It's like greed beats greed with greed times greed over greed. So Nick is at 29 workers to 31. So yeah, it only gave him a 2 worker lead, like I said, and it gives him the later orbital. So I'm not sure it's even worth it to get 2 extra workers, but a later orbital. I don't know. Because it gives you an earlier second orbital and a later first orbital. So I don't know if that evens out. Nick is much ashamed of his 2-9 losing streak today. P.S. This is Ashley playing single player, but Nick will be back soon. Fret not. Yeah, I've been watching Nick's games just to test out the combination of fraps and virtual dub converting in the backfield automatically, which is not really working so well, as you can tell by the choppiness of these casts. But it was worth a shot. And I had to cast something, so I just picked the random stuff at the top of the list, and that's what this is. So, at 8 minutes, we're looking for 30 workers from both players, and they are both insanely greedy and going to be way past that. Come on, go faster, you stupid game. 35 to 38, that's good. So, Mr. Crazy Pants has 38 workers at 8 minutes. That is insane. Insane! He's Mr. Greedy Pants. But neither of them has an army. I mean, I think they both scouted the other one was going Greedy Marine build, and so neither of them is bothering to make an army. Which is totally fine, but it's just leads to this insane amount of money. Alright, so Nick's build should give him 52 workers if he does it perfectly at 10 minutes, and Mr. Greedy Pants gets 52 workers, so yeah, I think at this point their build's basically evened out to be the same thing. Big difference. Lots of reactor cores. Nick didn't get this reactor core, so his marine production is going to be slightly less. Now that stim and combat shields are done, too, he can lift that off and add another reactor core, but I don't think he will. I don't think he will. Nick often underemphasizes marine production in favor of this gas stuff. Like you can see, he's mined a lot more gas than his opponent, but in marine-based play, the marine count is all that matters. So 56 marines against 38 marines. This is the exact same reason he lost the last TVT I watched of his. You're really emphasizing the wrong stuff, man. The gas units are support. The minerals, that's where your strength comes from. Emphasize minerals. Don't put guys on these lower gas geysers until you've maxed out your minerals. And don't make more than 4 racks, and don't leave 2 of them naked. This is, look at this. He's building only 4 Marines at a time now. He's swapped onto a tech lab. I don't know what he's thinking, but it's not good. Is he producing 6 Marines at a time when he has the ability to produce, what, 9? Where's the other racks? Yeah, there it is. So he's got 5 racks. That should be 10 at a time, and instead it's only 6. And his gas is just piling up. Don't take gas this early. So here comes the third. It looks like no engagements have happened, and Mr. Blue is just getting more and more of a Marine lead. Nick is still up by 3 on worker count. They've both spent all their money. Actually, no, at this point, Nick hasn't spent all his money, which makes me wonder why he's pushing out. Don't push out, bro. Don't push out. And he's getting the siege tank transition too early, too, I feel like. But he has to because he's got all this gas. You really want to have a big fight before you do that siege tank transition. Nick and Gigantor are both going for 2-2. Nick's going to finish 2-2 first, which is going to... Ooh, array out of bounds. I don't even know what that is. That's no fun. Yeah. So Nick's going to have 2-2 before Gigantor, but he's not going to wait for it. Like, oh. And this is 82 Marines against 54. Nick's going to get crushed in this battle. Utterly crushed. And siege tanks aren't going to matter in your first fight, because the Marine counts from both sides are going to be so huge that siege tanks aren't really going to be able to play a big role. And that becomes kind of the end of the game. So I've already watched the rest of it. Nothing really interesting happens. Nick loses that big first fight just because he underemphasizes Marines. And then Mr. Containy Pants contains him. Nick pulls SCVs to attack into it, but eventually loses. And units lost ends up double for Nick, even though army spending is greater for Nick. Nick actually economically pulled ahead after that first fight because Greedy Pants was like, oh, well, I want to fight. I don't need to make army anymore. I'm just going to produce lots of command centers and mine from them, which I think is a good call because he really didn't need a lot of army to beat Nick. So now he's on 8 billion command centers, 8 billion minerals per minute coming in, and Nick has nothing, and he's mined out, and that's the end of the game.